Apologetics 4, Lecture 3, Near-Death Experiences. We're going to have one of those tonight. Have you ever had one? Don't say yes, please. Some people may.
You mean, have I almost died? Yeah.
Well, like what they're going to talk about here. Some people have had these experiences. Online students, I'm just going to call it like I see it. And though there's, I can't be too dogmatic on it, because the Bible doesn't talk about things too much here. There's some verses to put in principle. So if you've had one of these, I'm not saying that you met the devil himself, but be careful of these. Numerous people have had these near NDEs after their hearts have stopped and where they have stopped breathing. And then 10 seconds later, the EEG measure goes absolutely flat. So this happens, and then they're alive again after that. If so, how can any scientist say that this NDE is a conscious experience? Someone wrote here. So if you have this happen, how can you be conscious of it if your brain waves are flat? That's a good question. Also, there have been numerous blind people, blind from birth, who reported near-death experiences. And for most of these, it was a visual experience. How can that be? It is thought that over 10 million Americans have had NDEs. That's a lot. Why do scientists not study these more? This little guy says. These are not drug-induced hallucinations. How can so many people report nearly the same details in their experience if they were due to drugs chemically acting on brain cells? Most people who undergo NDEs say that they're not really a dreamlike event, but instead very real and structured visits. So what this guy's trying to say is, this is a real thing. Quit saying it's some chemical imbalance or hallucination. I just gave that to you so you see where some people stand on it. Is it possible for someone to truly die, whatever that means, die, and then experience part of the afterlife? Like go to heaven, come back? How about someone almost dying, or not dead, but almost dying, and then being allowed to experience this also? So what constitutes death? Is it brain death? Is your brain just EEG flat? Is it your soul departing? Yeah. I'd call that, yeah. Why would this only happen to a few of the many that die? Or have this near death? I mean, is it a death experience? Is it a near death? Good question. Is there any scriptural support for this experience? Hold on one second. Okay. Well, let's look at these. Someone read Luke 16.
And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence.
So, at least back then, once you died, meaning your soul departed, and it went to either paradise in the center of the earth or the wicked, spot for the wicked, that was it. So there was no coming back going, so that was a done deal. So that teaches us something. And it is appointed unto men once to die, and after this judgment. So once you're dead, it's a one-time deal, and then you're judged. Someone read the next.
And as it is...
I just read that.
Oh, you did that. I'm sorry. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Job kind of describing here that once you're dead, there's no going beyond that, coming back. Your days are determined. But here it's talking about near death. But I'm just giving you some principles here. When a few years are come, then I shall go the way whence I shall not return. Whence I shall not return. So definitely once you're dead, you don't come back. Scriptures say. Someone read 2 Samuel.
For we must needs die, and as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again, neither doth God respect any person, yet doth he devise means that his banished be not expelled from him.
Okay, complicated verse. You can't gather up spilled water. Once you're gone and you're dead, that's it. You can't put it back together again. So that's true. You would hopefully agree with that. Once you're officially dead, according to the Bible, that's a done deal. You can't undo that. You don't die and then come back to the body again. You're gone. So near death, near death? So you're still there with your body, You're almost dead, but you're not, and then you have this experience. Okay, I assume that can happen. So a near-death experience, I think, happens. Not an after-death experience where you come back into the body. No, you didn't die then. Standing in front of me, as Mickey Robinson, who had this is a popular near-death experience, Mickey Robinson says, standing in front of me was the most awesome sight. I could see a man standing in front of me, but he was not like anyone I'd ever seen before in my life. His garments were shimmering white in color, the garments of light. I could see his bare feet, and his hands were outstretched towards me as if to welcome me. I knew I was looking upon God. As I looked toward his face, the intensity of the light seemed to increase sevenfold. You couldn't make out the form of his face, as the light was so bright. Such purity, such holiness, such beauty. I asked God if I could step closer. I felt I could. I wanted to see his face. Moving closer, waves of more love began to flow towards me, and I felt very safe. That was Mickey Robinson's near-death experience in the plane crash. What was that all about? Was he just having some dream activity going on? Because of a state of shock? Was he experiencing God?
I don't think he was experiencing God.
A messenger of Satan appearing as an angel of light.
I don't know.
Why?
You can't say that he did not have this happen,
Right.
though it could be made up. But number two, you would say, I don't know about this being God. I could say that. But number three, I don't know if I can say that it definitely wasn't God. Because God can do as he wants. But in the New Testament, I don't see scriptural support for this. Someone read the verse here, or two.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned unto fables.
Yeah, there's books and books and books and articles about people with these NDEs. And then some of them have messages for the people. I was told by the angel to tell you this. Yeah, people like to hear about it. Joyce Hawkes, a cell biologist with a PhD, had an accident that forever changed her life. Interview of science. She suffered a concussion from a falling window. Falling out a window or a window falling on her? Oh well. I think that part of me, that my spirit, my soul, left my body and went to another reality, she said. She was very surprised at the experience. It just was not part of the paradigm in which I lived as a scientist. It was a big surprise to me to have this sense of something different than the body, a consciousness different than the body, and to be in this wonderfully healing, peaceful, nurturing place. All right. I think what I learned was that there truly is no death. That there is a change in state from a physical form to a spirit form. That there's nothing to fear about that passage, she said. Sounds nice, doesn't it? You don't want to be afraid of death, do you? No one would. The devil could so easily and somewhat subtly use these experiences, or cause these experiences, to have people say, death is okay, it's peaceful, nothing to worry about, it's just bright light at the end, and it's all love for everyone. That seems to be a common theme.
Yeah, it's interesting that none of these people go to hell when they do
Yeah.
near-death experiences. None of them.
No, yeah, I don't think they have hell experiences as well. Here's Hank Hanegraaff, which I don't believe too much. Well, some things he says I do not agree with. But let's look at this. In 2006, real estate broker Bill Weiss became a New York Times best-selling author with the publication of 23 Minutes in Hell. There you go, sister.
You're out of the gym, Ron.
Yeah, not 23 minutes in heaven. 23 minutes in hell. Whoa. During his alleged out-of-body experience, Weiss, who spent 23 minutes in hell, and uncovered a wealth of brand new information, regarding the hellish side of afterlife, including temperature, 300 degrees, with zero humidity.
Because they had a barometer on?
I don't know. I have no clue. What? Location, the center of the earth. Okay, not bad. I agree with that. Reptilian-looking demons, some of them over 15 feet tall, who rule over and torture humans, and rats the size of dogs, and snakes as big as trains. How was that mushroom you took?
Yeah, what did he have? Yeah.
We'll do a little bit more and we'll take a break here. Someone read John 8:44.
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Yeah, that's the devil for you. The flip side of the afterlife hit the headlines with the 2010 publishing phenomenon, Heaven is for Real, a little boy's astounding story of his trip to heaven and back. And I remember something about this. It's very popular. In it, Wesleyan pastor Todd Burpo tells of how his son Colton endured the equivalent of a near-death experience. Speaking with the simple conviction of an eyewitness, Colton revealed a heaven with jeweled gates, okay, shining rivers, right, and streets of gold. Wow, how unique. Okay. A God with blue eyes,
And yellow
hair, and huge wings. And a Jesus, I guess he's not God, he's saying, with sea green bluish eyes, brown hair, no wings, but with a rainbow-colored horse. And a Holy Spirit who is bluish but hard to see. Okay. Well, I don't know what you make of that, but a 10-year-old's mind, so be it. It wasn't until 2012, however, that the mother of all near-death experiences emerged. As arrogant as that might sound, writes Dr. Eben Alexander in his mega bestseller, Proof of Heaven, A Neurosurgeon's Journey into the Afterlife, mine, that's a unique title, mine was a technically impeccable near-death experience. Perhaps one of the most convincing such cases in modern history, he says of himself. A little prideful, huh? Let's make some money. Though through it, he grasped the essence of all religion and the single most important truth in the universe, namely, unconditional love. Says Alexander, you are loved and cherished dearly forever. You have nothing to fear. There is nothing you can do wrong. Well then, thus saith the Lord of hosts, hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you. They make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not of the mouth of the Lord. Well, be careful of these things. Though novel, near-death experiences are hardly new. During medieval times, stories of trips to heaven and hell were a potent means by which unbelievers were converted and believers convinced to stick to straight and narrow. It wasn't until 1975 that the moniker near-death experience was coined by the occult parapsychologist Raymond Moody in the runaway bestseller Life After Life. Since then, the endless streams of stories concerning subjective experiences occurring during a state of unconsciousness, brought on by a medical crisis, such as an accident, suicide attempt, or cardiac arrest, have flooded the market. And they're out there. So we'll look at this in the next section. Take a break.